welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now here on the channel. I am on hiatus, as you may know, but you know what? I've missed you and I thought it would be nice to dip my toe back into filming, which I actually haven't been doing that much of. I've mostly been editing, and give you a bit of a rundown of what I've been reading while I've been on hiatus, because I have been reading some things. By the time you're watching this, I think it has been 2 weeks-ish of hiatus and I've read 9 books, which I'm pretty pleased with. I've also done a lot of, I did a lot of filming right at the beginning. I've been editing all of that, getting that all up various places. I'm working on a sewing project that I'm really loving. More details on Patreon, but I'm having a lovely time. It's been really, really good for my creative energies, I think. But yeah, I wanted to just have a quick, nice chat through. Oh, I also cut a lot of my hair off, and obviously the day I wanted to film is the day where it's like, I look bad, and it's not worth washing me because it's really warm here, so no. So just... It's doing what it's doing right now. It'll figure itself out. It'll be fine. The first thing I finished since last we spoke is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. This I actually really, really enjoyed. If you're a person who really enjoyed the tone of The House in the Cerulean Sea and that kind of cozy-ish book, I would say definitely read this when it's out. I think it's out fairly soon, I suspect, and yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed this. It's a world in which there are witches, but they are not well known, and they are not publicly known. It's a hidden witchy world, and our main character gets requested to go and be sort of a live-in witch slash governess, I suppose. What's the equivalent? A nanny? That doesn't feel right. Anyway, for this house where there are 3 young witches living, and she's like, that can't be. 3 young witches aren't allowed to live together, and there's found family, and it was really, really good. As I say, if you enjoyed House in the Cerulean Sea, you'll love this. After that, sound the trumpets, wave the tambourines. I finally finished The Count of Monte Cristo. It was, I think, about 3 months of listening to the audiobook, but I finally got through it, and if we're being honest, I started it in 2021 in the summer, so it's been a while. I really actually enjoyed the story. I thought it was really good. I liked the writing style. It's not something I'll be picking up and going back to again. I'm not planning on picking up any classics anytime soon, but this was a book that I happen to own that is now off my TBR, and yeah, I would say if you are a person who enjoys classics and you have time for a very, very long book, it's not a bad book at all. It's just not always what I would pick up. But I thought, you know, treasure hunting, revenge, learning that revenge isn't always the answer, it works. The other thing that I had started last time we spoke that I have now finished is The Woman Who Rides Like a Man by Tamara Pierce. Really like this. Probably my least favourite of the Song of the Lioness quartet so far, just because I think it has some dated elements to it, shall we say. It's still good, a little bit dated, a little bit. I'm excited to pick up the 4th one in either the coming weeks or in a few weeks. That's how that's going to be. If you want to know my thoughts on that quartet generally, last week's video is probably the one to go to. One of the things I had planned to do privately, or not so privately, is that I really wanted to finally have a chance to read and to kind of like power read through the Temeraire series by Naomi Novik, or is it Her Majesty's Dragon? His Majesty's Dragon. Temeraire. Dragons in the Napoleonic Wars. And I'm doing them by audiobook, and I'm having the best time. I am currently reading book 4, so I've read the first 3, and as far as I understand it, they are kind of split into 3 trilogies. There are 9 books, and yeah, I'm having the best time with it. I think so far the first one has been my favourite by a long shot, just because I really like a lot of the tropes that involve, so like training camp, setting up your crew, establishing yourself, but the other ones have been good. I think it's interesting and something that I'll probably talk about more when I've read all of them, because obviously there is some similarities with Natural History of Dragons. It's just sort of how it is, but this is obviously coming from a much more military lens rather than a scientific one, and it does still have that same thing of we're going off to visit foreign lands, and in this case they are not just allegories for Earth places, but like the actual places that had actual politics at the time, and it's interesting. I'm gonna wait until I've read all of them. Ooh, it's my you nearly need to start work alarm. All of them have been above a 4-star so far for me. I've cried about dragons, I've had a lot of feelings, but it's been really good, and I am kicking myself for sitting on this series for so long. The lovely people over at Harper360YA were kind enough to send me a copy of Crumbs. This is a graphic novel that is already out. It came out in June, but obviously I've only just received and read it. This was originally a webtoon. I'm sorry it's so shiny. This was originally a webtoon and it was adapted for a graphic novel, and the art copy I have is black and white, but it will actually be in full colour. There are some examples just here, if you'll focus on them. There we go. I thought this was perfectly sweet. It's a really lovely story. It's a witch normal, magic normal world, and our main character and the love interest meet, and it's a little love story between them in this little witchy world, and we all learn nice things about each other. It's fairly YA, I feel. Not that that's a bad thing, just if you're interested in a more adult romance graphic novel, this won't be that. It also involves magical baked goods, which is another one of my favourite tropes, so yay. I don't know what I feel about this in terms of like the pacing of it, because I'm not very good at judging the pacing of graphic novels, and I've realised that the solution is to read more graphic novels. For me it felt a little bit choppy, and I don't know if that's because it was originally a webtoon or if that's just the nature of this kind of story. I haven't really found the answers to that yet. I'll get back to you after I have created a graphic novel TBR that I want to get to, which is something I'm excited for at some point. I also finished Akata Warrior by Nedia Okorafor, which is also called Sunny and the Mysteries of Assisi in the UK. It got published under a different name. Not sure why, and it made it very difficult for me to find the Kindle file, but I found it and I have read it. I liked this less than the first one. I think this possibly just isn't my kind of story, and if it weren't for Overbooked, I don't know if I would be continuing on with book 3, but I am going to, because it's recently come out, and I like Nedia Okorafor's writing generally. I'm interested to see where this one goes. I think this felt much more aged up than the first one did, which is always nice for me as an aged up person, and I like book series that age up with the reader as well. Yeah, I'm interested to see how the third one goes. I won't say that this knocked my socks off. The world building's still very good, the setting's still really interesting, it's just like not entirely what I want to read right now, possibly, is the answer. And the most recent thing I have finished was Wall of Storms, or The Wall of Storms? Yes, by Ken Liu. This is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty. I've had this on my TBR reading shelf for quite some time, and I finally got round to it, and I actually had the best time. And I think what made a difference for me this time around, as opposed to when I read The Grace of Kings, which I liked, I just wasn't totally sold on, is that I made a conscious choice to read it knowing Ken Liu is a short story author, right? And actually to read it more as a collection of interlinked short stories. It doesn't work universally. There are some bits that are more like one thing leading on to another chapter-wise, but there's a lot of short stories embedded in the book, and actually I think thinking of it that way really helped me. So if you were struggling with this series, that might be a reframing that helps you as well. I really enjoyed this. I thought the technology aspects were very, very cool. The character work is just fantastic. I really love all of these characters, and I genuinely get very choked up when bad things happen to them. I think that the politics makes sense, which I know sounds like a small ask, but quite often the politics in these kind of books doesn't make sense to me. But this, I had a great time. I'm excited for book 3, which I will hopefully get to in the coming weeks. I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe I'll sit on it for another year. We'll see. I've 2 things I'm currently reading. I mentioned Empire of Ivory, which is the 4th Temeraire book. I'm 33% of the way through that. I just have it on in the background while I'm doing other things. And I am 6% of the way through Wolf Song by TJ Klune, which is one of his original werewolf books that is now being republished because his other stuff got popular. A lot of that's happening right now. I'm not opposed to it. I've started this, it's quite depressing, and it's really kind of bumming me out, so I put it down again. I will be getting to that in the coming weeks because I have a review copy, but it's not happening anytime soon, I don't think, unless life changes quite significantly. That being said, it is hot again, and as you'll know, when it's hot, all I want to do is read. That's all I want. I just want a book in front of my face and a fan pointed directly at me. That's what I need. I'm still on hiatus, so I don't have like a here's what I'm reading next kind of list. I don't even know if I have any new releases to talk about from the last 2 weeks. Not from this week, and last week I've already hidden it on the spreadsheet, so I can't tell you. Next week there are quite a few, so we'll chat then, I guess. Oh, I bought a book. That's what I can tell you about. I purchased a book. I bought a copy of The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, and I wasn't going to buy this because I liked it. It wasn't like my favourite book ever, but I enjoyed it, and I own Sylvia Marina Garcia's 2 other books in hardback, and I was like, well, maybe it would be nice to have it. And then I saw it had dark green. This is my favourite colour, dark green sprayed edges, and I just had to. I couldn't resist. It's also like burgundy and dark. Oh. Very rarely do I fall for the we made the book beautiful so you'll buy it in hardback scheme. I fell for it hard this time. I'm even storing it that way because it makes me happy. I don't think I have anything else to say. I had a lovely time with some friends. I've been sewing. I've been listening to audiobooks. I've had a lovely time, but now I really do need to get to work because that alarm did go off. So what have you been up to? What have you been reading? Are you having a good heat wave if you're here in the UK? Are you coping all right? Are the pets coping all right? Let me know. Also, any graphic novel recommendations, please put them down there. Fantasy graphic novels, I want them. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. If you're missing me on my videos, I am posting on Patreon at the moment, which is linked in the description as well. If you would like to join my Patreon, you get early access to videos and exclusive content. Okay, work time, Judith. It's work time. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one.
It's gonna be some bloopers now.
Also, gonna clean my glasses because they are scummy.